Well, it's a Thursday off day, so why not? Let's do a mailbag episode.
We enjoy these, and guess what? There are 2 voice memos, so let's get started right now.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we are the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays. You can also find us on X and Instagram at Locked On Rays, and email us anytime, lockedonrays@gmail.com. All right, let's not waste any time here. Let's get right into the mailbag questions. We have 2 voice memos today, so we'll hit on both those as well as a written topic. So let's get right into it here. This first one from our buddy Charles.
Howdy, fellas. Enjoy the Locked On Rays podcast. I'm Charles McGregor from South Padre Island, Texas, although originally from Lakeland, Florida. And my question is, if you were designing the new Rays stadium, how would you design it? Would you design it to be pitcher friendly? Would you design it to have a short left porch for Isaac Paredes? What would be your dream scenario?
All right. Well, Charles, we appreciate the question. Ulises, how do you tackle this one?
I really would like to. The last one got me. Short porch for Isaac. That would be really fun. And guess what? If you were to make a team friendly contract with Isaac, there's another righty that has a lot of pop that's coming up and could potentially be the face of the franchise in Junior Caminero. So I'm kind of digging the short left field porch. Having said that, the Rays are always, or have been since 2008, a pitching and defense sort of team because they know how to develop pitchers. They haven't been that lucky with hitters. So you play to your strengths, and if your strengths are pitching and defense, it's most likely that they'll go with a pitcher friendly design.
Yeah, I agree. And especially when you want to attract those guys that are trying to have good years and bounce back and recovery years. That's how the Rays get a lot of those guys, not just because of pitching at the Trop, but the coaching staff as well. But I think it's a lot easier to get guys to come to a place like Tropicana Field versus Coors Field. Like Coors Field, the Rockies, they just have a hell of a time trying to attract pitchers. So I think that's a big thing, an important thing there as well. And to the point about the short porch, I guess the thing, it is the Rays, and even with a new stadium and seemingly the ability to spend more on money, you don't really want to build a ballpark around 1 or 2 guys, especially if this is going to be a 30, 40, 50, 60-year investment going forward.
Right. Yeah. And, you never know what's going to happen. Maybe, in 5 years, they develop a lefty power hitter, Xavier Isaac. And then so you could, potentially miss that. Yeah. So I don't think you necessarily can gear towards one specific player, but I do like the idea. And I like just because it's a fun question. I do appreciate that, Charles. If we go into something else, though, like on the design of the stadium itself, I would want to have this question every 2 months because it's fun. I have talked endlessly about cup holders. Every seat should have cup holders. Every seat. I don't care if you paid $10 or if you paid $1,000. Every person deserves a damn cup holder.
Spring training facilities have cup holders. You're a big league club. AAA clubs, AA clubs have cup holders. It's time to get with it. Invest the extra however much it costs to make that happen. I am a big proponent of that. I also think if there's, and I'm sure this has been mentioned before, if there's a way to, besides making it generally pitcher friendly. And I mean, we've seen what the Orioles have done with their ballpark, moving back the fences. Some sort of quirk or facet of the ballpark that the Rays can utilize as an inherent advantage of playing 81 home games versus another team playing a handful of games in. I mean, the Trop is like the best home field advantage ever besides the attendance factor and issues with that. But the lighting and the catwalk and everything, the bullpens that you have to traverse, if they can weasel in something to trip up potential defenders, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's always going to be closed. So there could be, I don't think there's going to be like, a situation where the ball is going to get lost like it does in the Trop roof.
Right.
But, with those big windows that they're going to have is the sun's reflection going to be an issue there sometimes when the sunset's coming down?
Yeah.
I don't know. It would be really cool to have some sort of, not gimmicky, but some sort of home field advantage that every team has,
Well, I think you read my mind there because I was getting to the gimmick portion. And, we know there's the Ivy at Wrigley Field. You have the Green Monster. You have at Chase Field. What, I don't even know if it's called Chase Field. All these stadium names are changing. I can't keep up with it. They've got the pool. Brewers. They've got the slide, Bernie's slide,
Yeah.
like anything like that you would like to incorporate.
Oh,
Me
we have them
personally,
already.
I want to see a cigar bar. I want to see a cigar bar over center field.
Okay, I'm in for that. That's pretty rad. I
Of
don't care
course,
if it's like a
enclosed because you
single
don't
thing.
want smoke, but something. And I know they've got a
It can
whole
be enclosed.
Tobacco-Free Florida thing going on, but
It can be
something in that
enclosed.
realm or that arena. I mean, they'd probably incorporate the touch tank, and even some stadiums, they're building museums within their ballpark, like real life, like legit, not a little closet, but legitimate spaces. So something like that, I guess.
Yeah,
Mountains at Kauffman. You have the rock pile at Coors Field. Something.
I think the touch tank is definitely happening again.
Yes.
I think that's a very cool thing that they do. The cigar bar, I am completely cool with that. It could
Here we
be
go.
enclosed like
Beach bar.
beach
Take
bar.
cigar.
could
We
be-
can. Okay. I know the cigars is not going to go over well
No.
with Tobacco-Free Florida. So beach bar area where
Okay.
like walking in sand, and you
Ooh,
bring flip flops, and they put up little tiki huts and fake palm trees and make that a thing.
I like that. I like that. It might be too gimmicky for the people up north, but guess what? We don't care. It's Florida. It's us. We see this all the
Florida's
time.
a gimmick as it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I dig that. I dig the little beach vibe, and I think there are like little tiki huts in which spring training is it in Port Charlotte that they have, or maybe the Mets have it in Fort Myers. One of specifically.
Yeah.
They have some like tiki bar. I'm pretty sure it's Port Charlotte, but my mind is blanking right now. But that would be really cool. Though something like that, the touch tank staying.
Yeah,
I like
something that you could also manipulate for if and when there's a new spring training ballpark for the Rays. So take that touch tank, take that tiki bar, and do what, again, I know we poo-poo on the Red Sox, but what they did with their facility in Fort Myers,
Pretty
Fenway
cool.
South, I think is a pretty neat concept.
Pretty cool. It's kind of like what the Marlins did with naming every farm system team that they have according to fish. It's pretty cool too.
No, I agree.
Cool.
And the other thing too, I mean, the obvious here is let's just have the stadium in Hillsborough County or on the other side of the bay. That would be nice.
That'd be nice.
But I do not think that is going to happen. But hey, a lot of money is going to be put into that thing, so it better be a special piece of property that has longevity and people will be proud of, and it won't be a joke, quite frankly, because people do make fun of the Trop. And look, we talked about gimmicks and all that. You can't go so far with something that people make fun of, like with the new Marlins Stadium, with whatever they had going on. I don't even know some of the shapes and structures and the colors that they had going on there. Try to avoid that if you can. So great question, Charles. We appreciate it. Policy Genius is the country's leading online insurance marketplace. It saves you time and money so you can provide your family with a financial safety net starting today. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 a year for $1 million worth of coverage. Some options offer same-day approval and avoid unnecessary medical exams as well. So check life insurance off your to-do list in no time with Policy Genius. Head to policygenius.com/LockedOnMLB or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com/LOCKEDONMLB.
We all have our competitive side, and I know Kevin and I have it, and that's why we enjoy Monopoly Go, and you can too, because it's a great twist on Monopoly where you play on not one but hundreds of Monopoly boards in crazy locations, building up amazing cities that bring you big, big, big money. But the best part is messing with your friends, right? You can charge them rent on iconic properties, just like classic Monopoly. And now you can also heist their vaults of riches and take them for yourself. But you can also do that today. So get in the game and join your friends. Download Monopoly Go, now free on the App Store or Google Play.
This next one comes from another buddy and often listener, Michael Begg.
Guys, this is Michael Begg in Odessa, Florida. My question to you is my prediction here completely out of line. By the trade deadline this year, the Rays will trade Randy Arozarena and or Isaac Paredes. I have my reasons as to why this prediction is in my head. I'm not a fan of it, but it's there, and I'd like to get your opinion on it. As always, thanks for the podcast. Go Rays.
Well, I forgot to say thank you, Charles, first. Now, thank you, Michael, for this voice memo. Dude, I'd like to. I like how he didn't say his reasons so that we wouldn't be, biased through it. But honestly, with this one, my situation here is right now that we know how Randy has started, it ain't happening, because if Randy is struggling, why would you sell low? So for Randy, that is out, unless like he just picks it up right away and becomes a thing. But
hey, you have a hot month that makes up for the bad month.
That's true.
Guys do that. I mean, he could have a 400 May.
That's exactly what it has to be, because April has been horrible. So May would need to be scorching hot, but then there's one thing: the Rays have to be doing very badly. So it's either Isaac or Randy being super hot and knowing that you could get a really big haul, but also you have to know, maybe this is not our season and we're not even going to get to the wild card. Or you think, can we get to the wild card without these guys, either Isaac or Randy? Yeah. That could be part of the formula there. But I think that's the only case scenario where this would actually be entertained.
So your suggestion is the team is struggling, and Johnny DeLuca, when he returns, he kicks it into high gear. Junior Caminero gets called up. He kicks it into high gear. Aranda does amazing things. Mead does amazing things. So it's a retool of the retool, essentially.
Exactly. And you already have the substitutes there that you're like, okay, we can get away with trading Isaac, or okay, we can get away with trading Randy. I don't think both are leaving in the same year. No way. Yeah. But ultimately, what I think is they're not going to get traded mid-season, but this is Randy's last season as a Ray. So enjoy it. Enjoy it.
I wanted to bring that up. Say that this is a total crap year for Randy. Like he finishes the year, he still stays healthy, doesn't stay healthy, whatever it is, but his line is not what we expect at all. Like, I'm talking 210, 220 batting average and 16 home runs and a 700 OPS. Do the Rays still keep him around, or they still get rid of him regardless, knowing that they wouldn't fully capitalize and realize the trade value for that?
He's almost making $9 million. So then he's already going to get a pay bump for next year in his second to last arbitration year. So he would be ARB2, which means that he would probably be making around 11 mil, 12 mil. So if you're the Rays, are you willing to put 11 or 12 mil for a guy that could potentially be on his, going down? I think Randy still, even with a bad year, he would still be giving you a good haul. Not as good as if you had sold earlier, but he still has the name recognition that and pop that other markets do like, and that carries a little bit more weight.
Hey, and I think people know sometimes there's a bad year, there's an off year, and a change of scenery, going back to what was working before, can get you right, so to speak. Cody Bellinger's allowed a bad year. Everybody more or less is allowed a bad year here and there. So I agree with you that whether he is an all-star caliber player or he keeps struggling like he is, it will be his final year in a Rays uniform. So with that, you should enjoy and appreciate the good moments. I know we want to poo-poo the struggles that he's going through right now, but just remember all the joy and excitement he's brought to this organization over the last handful of seasons, and savor that. You want to savor that for every single game, because you are most likely not going to see him in a Rays uniform next year. Now, Isaac Paredes, he is arbitration eligible after this season. Is that correct?
Yeah, because he's a Super 2.
Super 2. So what are we thinking? $3-4 million, maybe $5 million?
Maybe a little bit more, 5. Because I gotta check right now. Like, wasn't he arbitration eligible just now? I got it messed up. Contracts. Let me see.
It's quick. Hard to remember all the.
He signed for 3.4 this year, so I think he would be definitely around 5 or 6.
Okay,
probably 6, honestly.
And even if Caminero is doing otherworldly things, I still think you find a way to keep him around for 2025 at least.
Yeah. I see a Paredes trade, so it would be one of the biggest surprises for the Rays to trade ever in their franchise. Since 2008, it would be like one of the craziest trades they've pulled off, because this is a guy that you could potentially be building around, not just like selling high.
Right. And he's becoming one of Ulises' favorite players. So we don't want to mess with that. We don't want to upset the apple cart there for sure. And he's pulled the Rays out of a lot of holes here. And he's showing no signs of slowing down. Like, whatever he's doing right now, opposing teams haven't really caught on. And he's found a way to adjust to whatever is thrown to him and still being able to pull with power. And we've seen there are times where, okay, I know I can still hit it up the middle, hit it the other way, not necessarily for a home run, but a 2-strike protection swing, base hit. That's all you need there. So he's multifaceted in that approach. Not to say that he's an all fields type of hitter, but it's not like he's exclusively pull happy. Like he'll slap one the other way up the middle.
Only 4 home runs. He's a pull hitter, but he can spray it around a little bit. And let's be honest, in 23 games, he already has 6 home runs. If you extrapolate this to 150 games, that would be 39 bombs. No signs of slowing down. Do not trade this guy.
Spring training is over and baseball season is well underway. So don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your prize picks entries. Strikeouts, RBIs, first inning runs. Take your pick of more or less and add them to your prize picks entry today. There's also a little something called the NHL and NBA playoffs, where you can 100 times your money on prize picks. where you choose the world's best players and take the game to a new level. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB, for a first deposit match up to $100. So good, I'll repeat it again. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Fair. Okay. This final question that we will get to comes from Ryan Hill, a fun one, and I like it. Let's keep it light, as the play on the field is a little underwhelming lately. Boy, that's the truth. What is the best player or coach nickname the Rays/Devil Rays have ever had? If you are really ambitious, you could do an all-time nickname team.
Ooh. I want to do the all-time nickname team for another episode. So great question. Thank you, Ryan, for writing to us, of course. So I'll take the first question. It's between the Outlaw for Kevin Kiermaier, because I think that's such a great nickname. And
because he was stealing money from the Rays by not playing and being injured all the time. Is that correct? Stealing millions.
Hey,
you're talking about his defense. I'm sorry.
Yeah, his defense, baby. His defense.
Double entendre.
Yeah, maybe he became that. No. And then the first one would be Big Game James. I think Big Game James is such a cool thing. I mean, it would have been awesome if, like, during the playoffs or the 2010 didn't happen. But I think that's a pretty cool nickname to have as a starting pitcher who's going to give you everything he's got, 200 plus innings, and then be that guy. Awesome.
Yes. Those are pretty good. You kind of stole my thunder there. So, and I know I've got a whole list of names, so we don't necessarily want to do the all nickname team, but I don't know. Maybe it's a little nostalgia and what we're missing from the pitching staff here. Charlie Morton, Ground Chuck / Uncle Charlie. So he technically had two nicknames.
Oh, I like that.
And they were very apropos.
I like that a lot. And again, starting pitchers. Maybe there's a trend there. Are there more starting pitchers with nicknames than position players? At least for the Rays?
I think it's a mix. I think there's a mix. We're not going to get too deep into it, but Shane McClanahan has one.
Yeah.
Chris Archer has one. James Shields has one. Charlie Morton has one.
Yeah.
Blake Snell has one.
Yeah.
I think there's probably an even mix.
CC and BJ should have had nicknames.
Yeah, Carl Crawford, I don't recall him ever having a nickname. BJ Upton, the issue with him was we didn't know what we wanted to call him. Was he Melvin Upton Jr.? Was he BJ Upton? What do you want to be? I mean, it was switching back and forth pretty frequently, although he would be referred to as Bossman Jr. So that's a little bit of a nickname. I will say this, to flip the question on its head, the dislike nicknames, I don't like the laziness with some of the nicknames out there. Like, well, we kind of created our own with Kittredge and Kitty, but just basically shortening a guy's name.
Yeah, Longo.
A moniker out of that. You got to do a little bit more for me. Like Zanino, Z, okay. Meadows, Meads, Boxberger, Box, Siriano. Sorry. Do a little bit better than that.
We got to be more creative. We got to be more creative than that. Yeah.
But there's been some good ones. Brandon Lau's got one as well. I know his I'm not going to say his nickname because I know we're going to do the all nickname team at some point, but I'm kind of disliking the reference to him as a dog.
I want to, you know what? I will ask.
I want to see him perform in the playoffs against the best teams and show up and show out for me to refer to him as that and stay on the field. You're not a dog if you're, having issues all the time.
And on that note, I think we should end this.
All right. Thank you for the mailbag questions. We appreciate it. Keep them coming. The voice memos preferably. We love the voice memos. We might have to barter for some of those. Might have to, send you $5 through Cash App or something. But lockedonrays@gmail.com to send us those, who you are, where you're from, what your question, comment, or hot take is there. On that note, thank you all for making the Locked On Rays podcast your first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays. Hope you have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you soon.